In this quick little video, I'm going to demonstrate how I took some raw components and made a final image here of this red Shimano cycling shoe. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of parts, but it'll give you a basic demonstration of how I went from the components to the final result. And the individual components are this background, which I sourced from unsplash.com, courtesy of Simon Berger, as you can see up here. And this photograph of the shoe, which I shot against a gray background. As you can see, it is sort of backlit. If you look at the lighting, you can see the shadows are on the front. The front right here, you can see there's a shadow. And we have a rim lighting here, therefore the lighting is coming from the top and slightly from behind. There is also a reflector over to the right, and if I'm correct, there's also a reflector to the left, but I may not be correct in remembering that. And as you can see, the shoe is, how is this mounted? I think I taped it, or it could be clamped. It's probably clamped. And I put this blue tape on here to help me cut out the shoe later on. So this is probably a one light and two reflector shot. I actually think I included a mirror in the bottom. I handheld a mirror down here to fill in some of the light here, some of the shadows. So I took this, I cut it out using a tool like this one, which does this. This is in addition to one of the newer versions of Photoshop where you can cut out an object, or at least quickly select it. I'm not actually going to do it in this case, but this is basically what it does. And as you can see, this dotted line shows where I am selecting it. And if I zoom in here, not like that. If I zoom in here, I zoomed too quickly, I believe. Let's try it again. I go like this. In this case, I'm using a mouse, but sometimes I will use a tablet with a stylus, but I find this a bit easier. So, if I zoom in, you can see this is the selection here. So everything on the left of this dotted line is something I will be selecting. Everything on the right is something I'm going to be discarding. Now I would use other tools to more accurately select the shoe, and then I would save it to a different layer. And I would do that using, on my Mac, Command J. As you can see, it put it onto its separate layer over here. There's a separate layer. And from there, I would take this, I would press V, the letter V on my keyboard, which gives me this little movement tool, which means I'm going to move it. And I can take this image here and drag it on top of this image here. However, the problem is, as you can see down the bottom here, this is 300 pixels per inch. And this file is 72 pixels per inch. Now I could upsize this one, or I could downsize this one. They have to be the same. My final image that is going to be going on the internet is 72 pixels per inch, because that is basically the native resolution for the majority of monitors and mobile phones and tablets. They can't use 300 pixels per inch. It's just wasted information. So there's no point in making files that are 300 pixels per inch. So I have moved it over to this one. I have resized it to be this size, 1490 by 1191 pixels. So it's 1490 from the left corner to the right corner, and it's 1191 from the bottom to the top. I then blended them. However, you see this red. This is before I thought of using the image for the background. This is before. So I brought it into a separate file, and then I ran what's called an action. This arrow over here shows actions, as you can see in the top. And this specific action is this one right here. This is called frequency separation, 16 bits, which means a lot of information, and clipped. Clipped means that certain actions are dedicated to certain layers. For example, down here where the hand is, high median worker is clipped to high median. As you can see, the arrow means it's clipped. This low worker is clipped to this low median section here. This is the basic image right here. And if I turn it off, you can see some information is changing right around here. So there's a highlight that comes in and goes away. Now basically what I use this for, this action, is to clean up a lot of stuff. So removing dust, cleaning up smudges, even fingerprints. And if you look at these holes, these are ventilation holes in the shoe. If I turn this off and on, you'll see the difference. So that's what it looked like before I cleaned it up. And you can see down here there is a highlight that comes and goes. In most of these holes there is bits of fabric that is kind of ugly, so I clean that up as well. So that's what I use this action for. If I go up this way, I think I did something with these tabs as well. We don't need this. Yes, so there's all kinds of dust on these tabs. These tabs are used to tighten down the laces. So it's a very effective tool. Anyway, back to the main size. So after I cleaned that up, I saved it, and then I brought it into the image. The image was desaturated using a hue saturation layer, which is this thing. So for example, if you just look at that image, and if I change the saturation, it turns it into a black and white image. So basically what I did is I knocked down the saturation, which gave me this. That way that the red image, the red shoe, stands out much more than the background. I didn't want the background to stand out and compete with the red shoe. But since it's an image of mountains and this is a mountain bike shoe, it seemed appropriate. So basically that is how I did it, and then I saved it to the appropriate size. I changed it to 8-bit, as you can see here. This is 8 bits per channel. When I work on it, it's 16 bits per channel because there's more information and the colors are better. I changed the image size to what we have here, 72 bits, pixels per inch. And then I save the file. And one last thing I do is I convert to profile, sRGB, which is the perfect profile if it's going to the internet. And then I save it and it's done, and upload to the internet, and she's ready to go. Now it's on my website. That's it. I'll do another demonstration in a couple of days. Hopefully you'll stop by. Thanks again, Mike Taylor Photo Arts in Peterborough, Ontario. Have a great day.